Ever notice your computer crawl to a halt when you've got too many browser tabs open? Or how your phone struggles to run smoothly when multiple apps are left running in the background? That's not your imagination. It's your RAM reaching its limit. Welcome to Unravel, Technology and Innovation. In this channel, we simplify the world of technology so you can understand how it all works, no matter your background. So, what is RAM? And why does it matter so much for the speed and performance of your devices? Let's break it down. At its core, RAM stands for Random Access Memory. Despite the fancy name, it's simply your device's short-term memory. It's where your computer temporarily stores data that it needs right now, or in the very near future. Think of RAM like a desk. The bigger the desk, the more papers, books, or tools you can keep right in front of you while you're working. Storage, like your hard drive or SSD, is more like the filing cabinet. It holds everything, but it takes time to fetch something from it. RAM is the space where things stay within arm's reach. This is why opening a new program or running multiple apps at once leans so heavily on RAM. The more you have, the more your system can juggle without slowing down. Here's the flow of how your computer uses RAM. When you launch a program, let's say your web browser, your computer doesn't run it directly from the hard drive. That would be far too slow. Instead, it loads the important data into RAM, where the CPU can quickly access it. RAM is built for speed. Unlike permanent storage, RAM doesn't need to go searching for data. It can grab any piece almost instantly. That's where random access comes from. It can jump directly to the spot it needs instead of scanning through everything. But there's a trade-off. RAM is volatile. When you turn off your computer, everything in RAM disappears. That's why unsaved work vanishes if your system crashes. Permanent storage remembers, RAM forgets. The most common type is DRAM, Dynamic Random Access Memory. It's used in most computers today. Within that category, you've probably heard of DDR, which stands for Double Data Rate. Versions like DDR3, DDR4, and the latest DDR5 mark generations of improvements in speed and efficiency. Another type is SRAM, Static RAM. This is faster and more stable, but it's also more expensive and usually reserved for special uses like cache memory inside CPUs. And then there's VRAM, Video RAM. This is the dedicated memory on graphics cards. It's crucial for handling textures, rendering, and anything involving heavy graphics or AI workloads. Without enough VRAM, your games stutter, and video editing slows to a crawl. If you've ever shopped for a computer, you've seen numbers attached to RAM. Let's translate them into plain English. Capacity, measured in gigabytes. This is how much stuff your desk can hold. 4 gigabytes is minimal, 8 gigabytes is standard for basic users, 16 gigabytes is ideal for power users, and 32 gigabytes or more is common for gamers and professionals. Speed, measured in megahertz, faster RAM, means your CPU can grab data quicker. Think of it like how fast you can flip through the pages of a book. DDR4 RAM might run at 2400 megahertz, while DDR5 can reach 4800 megahertz or more. Latency. This is the delay before data starts moving. Lower latency equals snappier performance. It's less obvious than capacity or speed, but still matters in fine-tuning performance. Channels, dual-channel or quad-channel setups. Let RAM modules work together in parallel, doubling or even quadrupling the available bandwidth. Together, these specs determine not just how much your system can handle, but how fast it can handle it. So, where do you actually feel the difference? In gaming, RAM stores the data for textures, maps, and in-game assets. Without enough, you'll see lag, stuttering, or longer load times. In video editing, large project files, previews, and effects are constantly loaded into RAM. More memory means smoother playback and faster rendering. Even in something as simple as web browsing, every tab is a process managed by the CPU and stored in RAM. That's why 30 open tabs can suddenly bring your machine to its knees. For remote work, RAM keeps multiple apps like Zoom, spreadsheets, and your browser running smoothly at the same time. Without enough, everything slows down, no matter how fast your internet is. RAM is the unsung hero of multitasking. It doesn't just make things faster, it makes them possible. But here's the catch. More RAM doesn't always mean better performance. If your CPU is weak, or your storage drive is slow, extra RAM won't magically fix that. It's part of a system, and the slowest part still creates the bottleneck. Another misconception: unused RAM isn't wasted. Modern operating systems intentionally fill RAM with cached data, ready to be reused. This is why your RAM often looks full, even when you're not running much. It's working smart, not sitting idle. And then there's the law of diminishing returns. Jumping from 4 to 8 GB can make a huge difference. Moving from 8 to 16 is great for gamers and creatives. But beyond that, most users won't notice unless they're running highly specialized workloads. Like everything in tech, RAM is evolving quickly. We are now seeing DDR5 RAM become mainstream, with faster speeds and greater efficiency than DDR4. It's a big step forward in preparing computers for more demanding tasks. On the graphics side, VRAM is exploding in capacity. Modern GPUs with 12, 16, or even 24 GB of VRAM are common, because high-resolution gaming and AI training require massive amounts of graphics memory. And then there's unified memory. Apple's M-series chips, for example, combine RAM and GPU memory into a single pool. This makes data sharing between CPU and GPU faster and more efficient. Expect to see more companies adopting similar approaches in the future. All of these changes point to one direction. RAM isn't just getting bigger, it's getting smarter and more integrated. So how much RAM do you actually need? For basic tasks like email, browsing, or video streaming, 8 GB is enough. For gaming or creative work, 16 to 32 GB ensures smooth performance. For professional workloads like 3D rendering, AI development, or video production, 64 GB or more might be necessary. The takeaway? RAM is one of the most cost-effective upgrades you can make to your device. It's often the difference between a sluggish system and one that feels brand new. So, what is RAM? It's your device's short-term memory, the desk where your computer lays out the things it's working on right now. Without it, nothing would feel smooth, fast, or responsive. It doesn't just store data. It fuels multitasking, gaming, creativity, and productivity. And as technology evolves, RAM continues to grow faster, more efficient, and more essential. Understanding RAM isn't just for tech enthusiasts. It's for anyone living in a digital world, because every click, every tab, and every app depends on it. Got a question or topic you'd like unraveled next? Leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. As we continue to explore the world of technology and innovation, one concept at a time.